One, two, three, one.
Finally, seeping is the key word here. Smart enough to figure it out. I just ask questions and talk shit. I'm not the
All I
news.
saw was a lake, mountains, and some trees. Ugh.
That's the running theme on this fucking podcast. Whoever deserves mocking, and that includes a host. Man, there's a record amount of meth in this place. Why do you stop buffering in the middle of my intro for no reason at all? Hi. I feel like it has made that awkward for no fucking reason at all. Maybe I have to think of another way to play that intro because, Google Drive apparently just doesn't work. Apparently, there's nothing better than Charter Communications in this fucking region, which is honestly like a fucking monopoly. Like I didn't really realize I was going to go off on my internet service this early into the podcast, or even this podcast at all. Hi, happy what the hell everything day. V-Day free, by the way. You'll hear nothing about V-Day, and it's not even out of spite or anything. But this fucking internet is honestly Charter Spectrum is the only option. And I'm trying to figure out do competing internet places do they not exist? Are they not allowed to go because there are other internet places, but they fucking suck. I need a good high-speed internet. And the other internet companies around here, I don't think they fucking are worth a shit, really. I could be wrong. I'll take any suggestions if you're watching locally or listening locally. You know what I'm talking about. Because man, what a fucking monopoly. It's kind of terrible. I was thinking close out of this. There is not good. It is going to be Valentine's Day, even though I just said the word. I'm not opposed to the word. I just forget that it's like Valentine's Day. I remember, every fucking holiday or every national day of where there's these newfangled holidays that we're supposed to like celebrate and react to. It's Taco Day, which I'm not above, it's always Taco Day. But it's National fucking Kiss Your Pet Day. It's National Go Fuck Yourself Day. All kinds of things, And I'm just like, why the fuck do these even exist? I have been single the majority of my adult life. I am now realizing at this point, I'm 46. I've had several long-term relationships, but by and large, I feel like since my adults started, that I've been single most of my adult life. And I kind of fucking love it. Like I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, who was also single and newly single. And it's one of those things when you're newly single after being in a relationship for a long time, or you don't, and I can only speak for myself, but I have been both. When you are newly single, usually everybody always says it, but not as many people actually try to get there. And that is like happy with yourself. You know what I mean? And when you're like, and as I am, again, I was telling a friend of mine, I'm like, I've never been happier in my life. Like I'm getting myself figured out physically and emotionally and mentally and all of those things. And I'm getting to a great level of happiness just in my everyday life. So when you have that happen, it's like Valentine and you're single. It's like Valentine's Day doesn't even fucking exist. I see so many of those fucking anti Valentine's Day posts, and they're always, most of the time, like anti Valentine's memes or something like that. People that hate love. It's not even that necessarily, but it's funny to describe it that way for me. You hate love. But it's just because usually those memes are accompanied by somebody who is newly single and just fucking hates everything about whoever they're attracted to. But it's like when I said V-Day free, like I don't even go through the day and think anything about it, and it's fucking fantastic. I feel like I'm a better person for not having Valentine's Day in my life. That was like, I started dating a woman a couple years ago. Didn't last. It's about a 5-monther, just long enough to be serious and to have real feelings involved. I think we started dating just before Valentine's Day, so I basically got off scot-free on that one. It was kind of one of those things. Hey, we just started dating. We don't need to do anything for Valentine's Day. You're not one of the, no, good, okay, good. But then again, maybe I should have, because maybe that's why it only lasted 5 months. Who knows? But there was a whole fucking point to this story. Is that I haven't really celebrated Valentine's Day in, I bet, 6 years. And I really do feel like I'm a better person for it. I highly recommend being single. I really do. It's fucking fantastic. I mean, yeah, there's the drawbacks, that usually involves, it's just one of those things. Just one of those things. What a fucking Super Bowl. And by what a Super Bowl, I don't want to say boring, because I didn't think it was boring. I thought it was a fucking more or less a good game. Defense had a lot to play in that game, but congratulations, man. I don't know if I've ever put that combo in there. Sorry. Congratulations. I don't think I've ever done that before. That's a first. Anyway, congratulations to one Matthew Stafford and the Rams. I feel like Buddy Ryan said it best last night. The karma slate is wiped clean. Wiped clean. Matt Stafford. This is honestly, this is the stupid Lions fan in me. I'm going to go into the whole curse, the Bobby Lane curse. The Bobby Lane curse. Bobby Lane won championships. He was the quarterback for the Lions in the 50s. That was the last time they won a fucking championship. Was in 55, I want to say, maybe 57. I think it was 55. And Bobby Lane got traded right after he won the championship, and it was like, you're never going to win a title ever because you traded me away. And that's fucking been true. So Matthew Stafford came from Bobby Lane's high school in Texas, the same fucking high school. And I'm like, he's ending the curse. Fucking didn't necessarily happen the way we planned it, but it could be like Star Wars in a way, where Anakin was supposed to be the fucking savior, but it didn't work out the way you thought it was going to. He brought balance to the Force later on, by throwing the Emperor in, and then another Skywalker brought balance to the Force, Sorry, was that a spoiler? But it's the same thing with Matt Stafford. You trade him away, get a bunch of fucking rad draft picks in the middle of a rebuild, and a couple of those pieces are going to be key pieces for the Detroit Lions championship drive. It's good. They're like, that's what's going to happen, man. The karma slate has been wiped clean. It was fun. Aaron Donald is a fucking monster. I love Joe Burrow. I was telling a friend of mine via text yesterday. I was like, man, I have 2 quarterbacks in this game that I have serious man love for. I really can't lose in this situation. I was like, both of my brothers, I don't think Levi did. Levi said he did not. Josh said he openly cried when Matt Stafford won a Super Bowl. I didn't, again, I'm on the record. I'm not going the Detroit Rams route, the whole refangled logo. That's too much. But I wanted him to win. By the end of the game, I had detached myself enough from Matthew Stafford, of him not being a quarterback for the Lions anymore, that when he won, I wasn't emotionally affected by it. I was more of the opinion, all right, now we can get on with business. That's why the fucking Lions shirts rock today. That season's over. It's a brand new fucking season. I've never been this fired up for the Lions the day after the Super Bowl. Like, I want the fucking draft to happen tomorrow and training camp to start next week. I haven't been this psyched for the Lions in a long time. Honestly, that could be the best thing to happen to me before I go on my trip to Ireland. In 2026, I leave for a year to go hike that beautiful country, that beautiful island of Ireland. But if the Detroit Lions could fucking win a couple months before I go, that's honestly... it's all on track. Stars will fucking align. Then you'll get a Detroit Lions championship. All the bucket lists are going to get crossed off. That's not the way real life works, Smitty. It'd be nice, That's what this podcast isn't for. Being realistic, it's for pontificating about ridiculous shit. Like, I don't know if you've ever paid attention to one of the podcast mottos. I have several, but a main motto of the podcast started mostly with Josh and Levi when I was doing the podcast, mostly with Josh and Levi, that it's not mean if it's hilarious. And I don't, there's no way to really show it to you right now. I could bring a picture up and share it on the video, but I'm not going to do that. But my friend Erica did a cross stitch that's now framed of "It's not mean if it's hilarious." It's up in the Smith hole here in the basement. Now, I always like to say, when it comes to that motto, it's not mean if it's hilarious. You got to know when to stop being mean, though. You know what I mean? That's how shooters are created. Like, you want to bust your buddy's balls, you can't just bust anybody's balls. You got to bust your friend's balls, but you got to know when the fucking limits are. You got to know when people say, all right, that's enough, fucking just stop. You're like, okay, maybe I shouldn't keep pushing and poking and prodding, I had a buddy. I'm not going to get into too many details. If you watch a bunch of podcasts, you probably know who this is, but it's a buddy of mine. Now, this buddy has a certain, I don't know if it's a fetish, but it's a thing for pregnant women, and I bust his balls about it. He told me in confidence once, and I blew it up publicly on a podcast right in front of his face. He didn't know it was coming, and then it became a thing where I always bust his balls about having a thing for pregnant women. I specifically follow like the pregnant women Instagram pages that are just like, they're modeling pregnant women. There's all kinds of pregnant women that go take boudoir photos and things like that, and it's cool for them. They're into it, and it's fucking good for them. But what's fun, more fun for me, is to screenshot those and send them to my buddy and be like, dude, check it out. And it makes me fucking giggle every single time. And I was in a really good mood last night, man. I'd smoked a bowl. It was my cheat day for the middle of the month. My diet has been shit. Like, I've had a few fucking bad days with the diet thing, but I haven't had any alcohol. So I had a cheat day, had a few beers, and Levi made some fucking rad smoked drumsticks, some twice baked potatoes, Hogzilla potatoes with shredded pulled pork. It's fucking stupid. Anyway, I was in a good mood, was the point of that. And I'm fucking on Instagram. And I said, oh, pregnant woman. Screenshot, send it to buddy. And I go, whoa. And the following response was, ha ha, funny. And I think I responded with something along the lines of, I don't know how much sarcasm there was in that, but I feel like there was at least a little bit, or at least there should be. Because I always think with this particular buddy, when I keep sending him shit like this, like, because you got to know that there's a fucking limit, man. I always am like, maybe this was the time. This might be the time where he tells me to go fuck myself. This might be the time he says, this is too much. I think this every fucking single time that I send any of my friends any sort of ball busting thing about any fucking topic that I have to bust their personal balls about. Every time I'm like, is this the time where he's going to tell me to fuck off? And while he didn't tell me to fuck off last night, he texts, ha ha, funny. And I said, oh, there's probably a little bit of sarcasm in that, right? And he goes, it was steeped in sarcasm, I think, for the exact words. And then I laughed and I said, haha, yeah, it's too funny right now. Haha. I was whatever. Today, I'm like, I'm gonna send him a message. I went, fuck it, first of all, because again, people are going to deduce who the fuck this is, probably because of the subject matter. If you watch enough of my podcast, you might know. But I texted him and I said, dude, I'm sorry. Sometimes I take it too far. Hopefully it didn't bug you last night. I'm like, I won't do that shit ever again. He goes, dude, it wasn't funny. He's like, my wife was going to private message you and say, I'm tired of you doing this. And I was like, that would have worked. That would have actually made me feel fucking terrible. But now you ruined that joke. So fuck you. You kind of lost that game, fuckface. You got to learn to be mean, because if you were mean like me, then you would absolutely fucking do that because I deserved it. You know what I mean? Fucking absolutely deserved it, but I don't think I'll ever make that joke again. Because some things you just can't. You got to stop poking, sometimes you got to know when enough pokes are going to wake that bear up, fuck, piss him off. I don't want to make people terribly mad at me, just enough. Just enough. We're still friends. And probably talk about that on the podcast too. But I don't like to use names, even though you probably know who it is. Shut up, Smitty. What the fuck was I going to talk about? Oh, it was a bummer to see that Mr. Ivan Reitman passed away. What the fuck did he do? I'm going to go to IMDb and look up Ivan Reitman. I know he did the Ghostbusters, directed that movie, I think partly co-written by him as well. So let me hit up IMDb and then I'll look up Ivan Reitman. His son Jason Reitman, I do believe is his name, directed the latest Ghostbusters Afterlife, which I am on fucking record as saying that that is probably the most perfect fucking sequel of almost any movie I've seen. You cannot, Lord of the Rings notwithstanding. A couple other movies, but that is the best fucking, one of the best, most perfect sequels that they could have done ever. I absolutely loved it. So let's see what movies. Ivan Reitman, who did a lot of stuff. Stripes. I'm looking at producer credits right now, but let's look at director credits. Producer credits. Producers are different. Like, it's weird. Just like, I love movies and I'm a movie buff. So like figuring out what like producers do, essentially they just supply the money and get the licenses. And that's, I don't want to say that's it, but that's the big part of what they do. They get licenses, permits, and pay fucking, make sure people in the right place at the right time. More of an organizational thing and a financial thing. But Ivan Reitman, start early. Meatballs. That's one I have not watched ever. And I know I probably need to. I know it's got Bill Murray in it. Stripes, Ghostbusters, Twins. There are other ones that I've never heard of, and I'm not going to mention those. But Twins, Ghostbusters 2. Twins is fucking underrated as shit. I need to watch that again. And I forget a super fucking smoking hot Kelly Preston is in that. Dave Jr. I think that was another Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. 6 Days, 7 Nights, Evolution. I don't know what that is. My Super Ex-Girlfriend. I saw that movie and liked it. Draft Day, which was Kevin Costner's sports flick, and I thought it was all right. But Ivan Reitman, it's a bummer. Anybody who is at least partially responsible for some of my favorite fucking pop culture anythings ever growing up throughout my life is worth mentioning, man. And his son, who is in Jason Reitman, who was in Ghostbusters 2, if you ever watched the scene in Ghostbusters 2, where it's the beginning of the movie and Ray and Winston are at the kid's birthday party. They're doing the Ghostbusters dance to make money because they stopped busting ghosts because they got sued. And Jason Reitman is in the movie and he goes, my dad said you guys are full of crap. It's a nice, interesting Ghostbusters 2 nugget. Don't you get it? That sounded way more mean and aggressive than I meant it to be. I thought this story was kind of funny. Moving along. Elon Musk, who everybody's got an opinion on, but I thought that this was funny. No, I guess one of the features is that he has on Tesla cars is being recalled, and the feature is the boombox feature, which I think is fucking brilliant, and you need to include it. Well, first of all, the boombox feature is a 2020 update on the Tesla. I don't know which models or all the models. It allows drivers to play sounds outside of the vehicle. So essentially, it's probably like a fucking little soundboard, you know, the touchscreen soundboard where you're like, I want to hear bad. I want to hear this. And it'll do farts. It does fart noises or bleeding goats outside of the vehicle. And if you could fucking include that to include like your voice, you know, so you can talk to people outside of your car, get the fuck away from my car. That is actually being recalled because Elon Musk says it is blames the fun police because what is the reason? The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration said that the boombox feature may hinder pedestrians' ability to hear a mandatory warning sound, increasing the risk of a crash. The pedestrian warnings are required in all electric and hybrid vehicles, the NHTSA said, because EVs are quieter than cars with internal combustion engines. And that makes sense too, because like I have heard many stories about just like how fucking quiet. I've never noticed. I've never sat in an electric car of just how quiet they are. So you gotta like have some sort of warning if there's, you know, a fucking electric vehicle about to veer off the side of the road. You can hear a beep, beep, get the fuck out of the way, or something along those lines, or a fart. Because if there's a fart, well, maybe I won't move. But most sane people move out of the way when there's a fart. A bleeding goat. I don't know. See, I don't know if it's removing all of the sounds or if it's just getting rid of that feature. I think it's recalling just the feature, which is again, fucking fun police. Way to go. Oh, here we go. Affected vehicles are the 2022 to 2020 to 2022 Model S, Model X, Model Y, and certain 2017-22 Model 3s. Oh, it's all started with one complaint. Fucking some assholes got to ruin everything because safety is affected. You know, stop. Why does everything have to be so fucking safe? You know, I don't want it to be like the way it was, of course, like, but everything's so safe. So many people get through the cracks that shouldn't otherwise. You know what I mean? You can see it happening. You know, there's so many dumb people that's just fucking swarming us. It's happening. That's how the idiocracy starts, man. This is another idiocracy example. And it is, I will share the screen on this if you're watching the live stream video. And I can't even believe I'm looking at this person. I'm on record as saying that I want everybody to be free and happy and be allowed to do whatever it is that you want to do. So let me share this screen here. But there's just some things that are not okay. Okay. There are some things that are not okay. And that is one of them. That is the transracial influencer. There's a lot going on in this story. Okay. A lot more details that I really need to get into, but we got to work ourselves up to this because there's a lot going on. What is this motherfucker's name? On first glance, looks like Cillian Murphy. I think that's his name. He's a Irish or Scottish actor. I think it's Irish. Cillian Murphy. He was in was it 28 Days, and then Scarecrow on Batman. You know what I'm talking about. But this is what he looks like. He is a transracial influencer. His name is Ollie London. Now, he came out recently as non-binary Korean, and he's British, again, as I said, revealing that he plans to undergo a penis reduction procedure to be 100% Korean, which honestly, that seems really racist. I say that. He says that he's like, I don't want people to get offended. First of all, usually when you lead with that, I don't want to offend you, then you're about to offend somebody. But in Korea, he says the average penis is around 3.5 inches, and I get trolled all the time. People say, and I'm sure that's not what he sounds like, and I don't want to give a terrible caricature accent to this guy, but people say, "Oh, you can't be a Korean. You're not 100% Korean," and I just want to be 100% Korean. I would even have a penis reduction, so I'm like the Korean average. That's how far I'm willing to go, he says. Man, they'll do anything in Thailand. It only costs $6,000 to $8,000. And he says, why does he say? Because he says, yeah, the average Korean penis is 3.5 inches, which is, you know, some things are not okay. You know, people are so unhappy with themselves. I try to wrap my fucking head around it. It's pretty fucking terrible. Like, again, I really dance a line. And again, it's the whole, if it's not mean if it's hilarious thing. I'm not even saying this is hilarious. I'm saying it's disturbing. That's how it fucking feels. I feel disturbed reading these things. Again, I want everybody to do what the fuck you want to do if it makes you happy. Are some things not okay? Is that one of the things that's not okay? You know, got all kinds of questions all the time. I just like to ask questions. So that guy, we can stop that, Smitty. What? Oh, in Wyoming. Let's move along. And again, I don't have anything bad about this. I can't say that he can't do it. I feel like it's safe to assume that he'll never be Korean. I could be off, you know. I could be way off. Blood transfusion, you have some fucking kind of like, can you change your genetics to be a Korean? You know, go the full fucking 9, man. You know, idiot. And yes, I am. This story out of Wyoming, and I don't even have the link because it doesn't even matter. It's somewhere in Wyoming. And I say to people all the time, you know, I'm like half redneck. Meaning I grew up in an area where people do redneck shit. All right. And you got to make a conscious decision to either join in or not join in. And I've made a conscious decision to not join in. But I still like to say I'm half redneck, but I reject that half. Now, there are a lot of redneck things I've participated in throughout my life. So when I read this headline that roadkill is now on the menu in Wyoming, there are a couple different restaurants, and I think it's fairly legal now to serve roadkill, and they make it a menu option. And I'm like, I bet there's people completely just out of the loop in that, and like completely out. Some people just can't even wrap their fucking brains around that. You know, roadkill on the menu. What the fuck are you talking about? Man, I have fucking told, I've harvested meat from a deer. My sister hit with a car. She's like, hey, Nate, come over here. Called me on my cell phone. I hit a fucking deer. Can you help me? Okay, if I can get there, deer's dead. I think it was still alive and ended up killing it with my fucking knife. I think that's what happened. But then the cops showed up and he's like, I'm like, yeah, can we take this fucking thing? Because you can get fucking meat out of it. Sorry, that's what happens when you grow up in a hunting community. Is that you're just like, yeah, I'll fucking do that. Hey, Uncle David, come over and help me fucking skin this goddamn deer and take these back straps off of here, because you know, why not? Why would you want? Like, I don't necessarily want to feed coyotes, you know, and I will. I like to feed myself first, but I bet there are people just fucking outraged. Roadkill. There's an event in Sheboygan, Michigan, I want to say, which is easily one of the most redneck towns I've ever been in my fucking life. And it's like, it's a wild game dinner. And I want to say 100% that they have some kind of fucking roadkill option. And I'm just like, man, at that point it's kind of cheesy. Like, you know, are you collecting the shit? Like, is there raccoon? And I think there was like raccoon. Look, fucking rednecks eat anything, you know, and rightfully so. You grow up in the fucking woods. I gotta shoot it. It moves. I gotta eat. It's fucking cold, man. So people are like, what the fuck? I can't even believe that's a thing. That's what happens, man. You grow up in the fucking woods. But I just thought it was funny. People are, whatever thread I was reading about that story, people were just like, this is fucking disgusting. I'll never eat there. And I'm just like, I know 1,000,006 people that would eat at that fucking place. And every day too, just because it's fucking roadkill. I'm sure of it. Oh my God, it's so funny. I don't know if anybody is checking out the reaction videos I started doing. I do the stoner reaction videos. I'm going down like Devin Townsend rabbit holes. I'm reacting to videos from like The Warning out of Mexico, Bandmate out of Japan, Biffy Clyro out of Scotland, all sorts of things. And it's starting to build and build and build. And I'm getting more patrons because of the deal. So if you have not checked those out yet, do so. It's a really fun thing. You know, somebody who's in the podcast, you know, somebody who's into reaction videos, you know, somebody's into album review podcast. That's another podcast I'm doing. Please like and subscribe this video. Maybe you want the audio versions of the podcast. They're going to be up on Spotify after this live stream. The other audio platforms, probably your preferred platform. If we're not on there, if I'm not on there, please let me know. But follow along, man. Follow along. And, you know, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, add it to your favorites podcast or your favorite podcast or whatever fucking term I was going to use. But I just wanted to say thank you guys. I appreciate it. And I really do appreciate you joining me. I do want to get the hell out of here. I got things to do today. So let me play this closing outro and say, till next time.
So long, sucker.
Good night, everybody.
I am so sorry for everything that has happened.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, all right. I'll see you guys there. By the bar, get your face, huh? Get me paid, bitch. Sit, boo-boo, sit. Good dog. I love y'all very much. Peace out. Good night, ladies. Good night, sir.